Show podcast. We back once again. You know, I'm on an expedition to just learn about people, and I find this next character intriguing, controversial, and so many other adjectives and names I can't go with right now. I call him a friend, but I told him, you know what? I've known you for over 20 years, but I don't know you. And I find this with a lot of people that I've come into contact with for all these years. I know you, but I don't know you. And the whole purpose of this is, I know everybody knows that you're this guy who made all these superstars, passed the mic, of course, the Cardi, all this gospel stuff. A lot of people don't know you probably started doing hip hop and R&B, and then you transitioned to this, had magazines and transitioned to this. You did a lot of stuff in all the years that I know you. But I want to, and then I'm holding some other stuff. Stellar honors, he just capping, y'all. He capping, BMI award winner, capping, just straight capping.
That's actually the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is actually Stellar Award Hall of Fame. Just a handful of people.
Why do they think that you were deserving of that? Before we even get started, by the way, Kerry Douglas, ladies, Kerry Douglas. Of course, you can see all the stuff right here from Black Smoke Music. He's done some great things with some incredible artists, and we'll get into all that. But I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna jump all over the place because I can do that now. You know?
Yeah.
So why they think you were deserving of that?
Well, the reason I have this honor is because 25 years of serving the gospel music community, and I've probably owned on my catalog some of the most successful gospel songs in America for an independent label. You know, when you have songs like "I Told the Storm," that song probably have 100 million views on YouTube.
What artist is that?
That's Greg O'Quinn.
Okay.
Or even now, somebody like Pastor Mike Jr., who's one of the hottest gospel artists. Right now, he won already in 2 years 13 Stellar Awards.
Wow.
Or
all these while being with you?
Yeah, under Black Smoke Music.
Okay, I see you.
Or somebody like James Fortune.
Okay, I know James Fortune.
Who I started his career.
Absolutely.
Zacardi Cortez, who's really the main voice. He's the voice of gospel music. He doesn't have all these accolades. He is definitely the voice of gospel music. But we go all the way back to Keith Wonderboy Johnson, traditional music. It's just so many people that God has allowed me to orchestrate their music career. And not just from just the music, but also a lot of them are deeply involved with their lives and everything like that. So,
well, let's go back. This is what I want to know. I assume that Kerry Douglas is from Houston. What I realize sometimes, though, there are people who have been here like myself that have been here so long that people might think you're from a place, but you're not. I want to know about who that Kerry Douglas is. Where is he from? Why? How did he get involved in this? Because really, I've always thought of you, I know you do music, but as a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you've always done it your way.
Only my way.
Stubbornly on your way. I've not ever known you to have your hand out asking another man for $1. You've made all of yours. I find it intriguing people who have always worked for themselves. I always call it, if you don't, you got to kill what you eat. You eat what you kill.
Right.
And if you don't find your kill, you don't eat. So I always find people like you way interesting, because for you to work for somebody else, I don't even think that you could fathom that idea. And I've known you 20 plus years. I've never known you to work for anybody else, but I've always seen you as an entrepreneur. So where are you from? I talked too long.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm from, it's a little weird. I'm from a little town here in Texas called Brookshire, Texas.
Yeah.
Sunnyside.
Yeah.
Sunnyside. I guess that's where I'm from. I don't know.
Absolutely.
When I was younger, we lived in California, and then we moved back from California back to Brookshire, and in that area, then back in Katy, and we kind of, as a kid, my mother kind of bounced around here and there, and one thing about me, man, I can remember out in little area of town called Carverdale. We used to live out in Carverdale, and I can remember sitting on the side of the ditches and back at them days, people used to be outside. It was a street, and we played football. I wasn't in none of that shit, football. I wasn't doing all that, I just wasn't doing it, I wasn't the fastest guy out there, I was black, like real black,
Yes,
just
sir.
like you. So, they always had something to say about it. Black, hey, blackie, all that kind of stuff. And so I always looked at everybody and my surroundings, and I said, you know what? I want greater. I want greater for myself. And I would talk to my best friend. His name was Bootsy, and I said, Bootsy, man, I ain't finna deal with this. This ain't who I'm finna be, And so, as we grew up, I've always had this thing, and I would watch. My favorite movie was The Gilligan's Island, and for some reason, my favorite character was Thurston Howell.
Right. He made that money. Yeah.
I just like that guy, man. Right. He made that money, and so that just stayed in my spirit, and so I did have a job or two in my life. I had a job, yeah. So when I got about 18, we left from the hood and we moved to Bear Creek area, So okay. I went to Katie Taylor High School for a little while, and it was only about 3 blacks in the school at the whole time. The whole time I was at 3 blacks.
Wow.
So when we moved,
stop right there. What was that experience like? Just being one of 3. I mean, did y'all experience a lot of, I hate to say, but racism and name calling?
Actually, it wasn't much racism, man.
Really?
I mean, it probably was there, but I didn't really. I didn't really.
Your own move.
Yeah, I had my own little white friends, and we'll talk about that later because this whole world has changed. I wouldn't necessarily say they still my friends, but I mean they're still my friends, but we're so far apart now.
Your views, yeah.
Yeah, versus than where we were at that time as kids. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about that later. But anyway, man, so I went to the white school, of course, all white. That means I had my driver's license at 15. You get some certain privileges when you're around white people. I learned to really understand that culture, and everything. And I was in drama, speech and drama. So I wasn't I played the football, I played the basketball, but that wasn't my focus. My focus was more on acting, being able to communicate well. I played Dracula. I was the only black guy. It wasn't Dracula, I'm Blackula, so I played Dracula. Then I got into speech and drama. Actually, I won nationals doing a dramatic called A Soldier Story. And one of my duet partners was this guy, Nephew Tommy.
Nephew Tommy.
Yeah, Nephew Tommy was my duet partner in high school. Now, this was at Eisenhower High School when I went to
Big Ike, okay.
Yeah, went to Eisenhower.
H-Town?
Yeah. So,
y'all moved around a lot, man.
Yeah.
How did that play with you as a kid growing up?
That wasn't a good thing. I think when you move around a lot, you don't really, I never really had friends. Like I grew up without friends. I didn't have friends.
Do you think that has played an impact in your life as far as business is concerned and personal? Yeah,
I definitely do. I mean, I probably don't love the way I should love. I mean, this could be man or woman, because of that. I think moving around at that early age, it hampered my ability to education-wise.
Wow.
Yeah, it hampers your.
That's pretty honest of you to say that.
Oh yeah, I'm worth millions, so I can say it. I can say it. I ain't worried about that.
Yeah, but if you love different and you're even different, you're so used to working in this box alone.
Yeah.
Where you don't get close to people. They become pieces that you maneuver around for your purpose.
Yeah, sort of, kind of sad, but I mean.
So as you have gotten older, have you gotten better with the part of learning how to love? Like, I know you got a wife now, you got
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
and you have to try to
Yeah.
at least be loving,
It's difficult.
or they'll hate your guts.
But it's difficult, man.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Do they understand what you've been through? Have you had conversations with your kids and say, "Hey, this is where Dad was, and this is probably why the way, as a father, I act the way I act. So some things I'm asking for your forgiveness, but know that I'm still love."
Yeah, I probably haven't had that because I require a lot from them, and until they.
What parent don't?
Yeah, I want.
What parent don't?
I want
Most
to see
parents
them get there.
Yeah, most.
But
parents.
I did tell my older kids the other day. I was like, they all have been around me my whole life. All 13, 14 of them. They all been around me.
Sound like you said you had 13, 14 kids.
They all been around me, right?
That's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like.
So
you are populating the earth, my brother.
Hey, I love it. I love it. So I was telling my older kids, I said, you know what? I don't, if I was in the home with you guys like 24/7, I used to feel guilty, think, well, because I'm not with each one of these kids that I affected them or whatever. I said, not really, because I got my little 2-year-old and 4-year-old, and I'm here with them every day, all day. It's still the same situation. So it ain't, it's me. It's just something. But
there's still love there with the kids.
I love them. Yeah. But I feel like if it's something I could do again, I would want to learn to love a little bit more. I would wish I had a deeper love. I mean, and that's in life and everybody.
You got to work on that, brother.
Yeah.
Because you work in the love business.
Yeah.
So for real, that's interesting for you to say that. That there might be a lack of love in you, and what you work in is an industry that is about nothing but love.
Exactly.
When you work in the kingdom of God, and you got these gospel artists, everything they do is worshiping God. That is totally love work. So that's interesting for you to say that, man. I mean, for real, that's what that is. That's love work. I know you probably don't look at it like that. You're like, that's a business.
Yeah, I don't know why.
But you're in the love business.
I have no idea how come God put me in this to do this. I have no idea. I mean, he just.
No, there has to be a reason why. Like, what's your transition? You was telling your story. What's your transition in that story to become this entrepreneur? Like, what was your first entrepreneurial endeavor? Let me start there.
Well, okay, so we got to go back. So, all right, get out of high school and all this stuff. So I'm working for a water bedroom store. We're selling water beds.
Okay.
Back in the days, I don't know if y'all remember what water beds are, but they used, at one point they was kind of.
It was the hot.
It was a hot thing. A water bed. It was on the motion, And so I was working in the water bed store, and I was always sell these little young white guys water beds, young. They were all like my age, and they driving up in new cars. I always got some new car and spending that cash on those beds. And I was like, man, what is it y'all do for a living? This before all the drugs and all that. I said, what y'all do for a living? They said, man, we sell cars. I said, wow, sell cars, huh? So I went and made up this application like I was a great salesperson and everything. I went to apply for a job at a Lone Star Ford.
Wow.
Lone Star Ford. I went in there to get the job. I'll never forget this guy. His name was Doyle Davis, old white guy, gray hair, gray beard. Man, I love the guy to death. But anyway, I went in there and I filled out my application. I gave it to him, and he got to looking over it and everything, and he had them little glasses, he pulled them glasses down. And he said, boy, everything in this application is a lie.
Wow.
Yeah, you think I'm stupid? Everything is a lie.
Wow.
He said, everything's a lie. He said, you know what? But something about you, I like you. You have arson. I didn't know what that word means.
He said arson?
Arson. Arson. Anybody know what that means? I don't know. Arson. He said, I guess that's kind of like, I'm
thinking fire when you say arson.
Something like that. So anyway, he pulled about $400 out of his pocket because I was there in my Easter suit.
Okay.
Powder blue.
Wow. Okay.
Like people used to have on their Easter suit.
I see it. I got the whole vision in my head. I see you.
Right. I went there in the Easter suit. He went in his pocket. He gave me like $400 or $500. So you go down there the street to that Wieners and get you straight white shirts, a pair of black slacks, blue slacks, and a couple pair of them, right? So he just told me exactly, and shoes. He told me what to do, and I'll come back and see me tomorrow. So, that was a lot of money, man. It took a lot for me to go down to that store and purchase those items.
Yeah.
It took a lot because I had the money. He didn't know me from Adams. I could have just bounced.
That's right.
But it was something. I've always been a kind of guy who there's always really good in me. So there's a lot of people like to think there's bad in me, but there's nothing but good in me. So anyway, I went and did that. I came back and I got the job. To make the story short, the first month as a car setter, as a car salesperson, I made about 15 grand. Salesman of the month, my very first month.
That's still good money today.
Yeah, 15 grand. Yep. And then they gave me the keys to a brand new Thunderbird. It was brown. So now I was like them white boys. I had my own car to drive. I had a pocket full of money, So I was rolling. I was rolling through the hood and just having a great time, right? And midway through the next month, in the car business, you have these little X's for how many cars you sold. Well, the first month I had all them X's. So we midway through the next month, and there ain't no X's on the board. And I get a call over the speaker. Kerry Douglas, come to Doyle Davis' office. Kerry Douglas, come to Doyle Davis' office. I get in there, same white guy, pull them glasses down. He said, "You nigga rich now."
Oh my God. Lord.
Yeah.
He actually said that?
Yeah, he said,
wow.
He said, "You nigga rich now."
Wow.
He said, "Let me share something with you, young man. You're as only good as your last sale. And right now, you ain't got no sales on that board. So that means you ain't no good to me." And I never forgot that. Now, actually, I became salesman of the month again, because I was just a dog like that. So, you know what I mean? Because I was a dog like that. But that resonated to me. And in everything that I do, you're only as good.
I'm surprised that phrasing, you weren't offended by it. Like, just before you finish the story, what were you feeling when he said that? Because my response, I think, would have been, that probably would have been my last day. Why was that not your last day? Why did you heard it?
I knew exactly who he was. He was the same guy I was. It was all about, let's make this happen. He said it in motivation. At the end of the day, I buried him. Many years later, I ended up burying him. Wow. And this guy was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. But he was like a father to me. And he was right.
You were not offended? No,
I was being nigga rich.
Wow.
And I think we still act like that today. We don't understand the complexity of wealth, money. I think that we're acting that way now. It's causing a lot of the negative in our community right now. I mean, hell, look like rappers is worse than being a police officer. It's a dangerous business right now. I was talking to one of the video guys who was telling me that he was shooting a video on a rapper, and one of the guys got killed. It's
video shoot?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I mean, because it's that dangerous because we have that mindset and don't know it. We have a nigga rich mindset. And I don't even like that word, but it is what it is. Okay. We're playing a dangerous game right now. There's a lot of stuff going on around us, and we're just letting it go. It's crazy right now. I hope it gets better.
So obviously, how long do you think you stay at this car place selling cars?
Oh, I was there for a couple of years.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I did, I got to tell you how I got in the music business. So
because I'm trying to figure out the transition. You go from school because it didn't sound like you did music in school.
No.
Sound like it to me. It didn't even sound like you were interested in music.
No.
You may not have ever. It didn't sound like you picked up an instrument.
Yeah, no, I picked up an instrument. I was terrible. I was terrible though.
I got that.
Okay.
You probably were not the greatest on the instruments.
Right.
Your voice probably wouldn't. It didn't.
None of that.
It didn't sound like Zacardi's voice. Let me put it like that.
None of that.
So you didn't sound like you wrote songs. So I'm trying to hear where the music comes from, but we'll get to it.
Okay.
So I'm noticing in your story so far, though, I have heard nothing about the love of music and how it drove you to this place. Something else drove you to this place.
Yeah.
And I know we'll get there.
Right.
So speaking of driving, so you at the spot, salesman of the month, obviously. You're doing it for a couple of years. You're successful at it.
Yeah.
You're doing pretty good, obviously.
Very successful.
You could continue doing that and you never really have to go into the music business. You were doing very well in the car business.
Yeah. So what I end up doing is, part of my success is we started doing events on Saturdays at the dealership. You know, you had the balloons, the hot dogs, and all that. So I started saying, you know what? Why don't I bring some entertainment in? So the general manager was like, cool. So I would bring, Big Steve and all these guys have all these artists come to town. Well, I cut them another little check if they come by the dealership on the Saturday and sign some autographs.
Only Big Steve in Houston I know was a Rap-A-Lot Big Steve. Is this another Big Steve?
No, Big Steve.
Oh, the Big Steve that did the clubs.
Yeah, clubs.
Oh,
He just recently passed.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
He was a great person.
Yeah.
I really liked him. He was always nice to me.
Yeah.
Y'all watching this don't know who we talking about.
Yeah.
Big Steve. He was in the club business.
With
Captain Jack.
Captain Jack and Big Steve. Yeah.
Oh wow, he just passed away.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate. Really good dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
blew me away with that.
So I remember bringing MC Light. They came in and do something at Boomerang, whatever them clubs was called back then. And I'd contact them. They come into the dealership. I get the dealership to cut them a check. So I started using artists to come town to draw crowds into the dealership. So the people would come in. If MC Light there, or Mary J. Blige there.
Stop right there. What made you think that was a good idea? I'm just curious. Like, what made you sit there and go, oh, we should have entertainment at the car dealership?
Yeah.
What was?
Because we would bring the radio stations in. They would do their live remotes. So I just put two and two together.
You thought that? Okay, I was just curious. So you brought all these artists in. Obviously, it went well.
Yeah, Funky Larry was back there in the day, and Jimmy Olsen, and all them guys, and Greg Street. How long I go back?
Yeah, I know you got history here.
Yeah. So I would connect them with the radio. That's how I got to meet people at the radio. I connected everybody, and boom. So it made me sell more cars because I got more people come in, more black people came in, sold more cars. Everything went well. And then at that time, I said, wow, well, what if I just created my own artists and I could just keep all the money, So that's when my very first artist was, don't worry about that. Yeah. My very first artist was J Real.
I thought that you was some musician and you transitioned there. So, all right, so you're at the car dealership, you get this great idea. You know what? I'm going to get my own artist. How did you find J Real and put him on? By the way, for y'all watching, J Real was huge in Houston in the 90s, had a huge song called Do You.
Let me do you again.
And I just remember Kerry Douglas asked me to be on it. So somewhere is a version of me rapping on it.
Yeah.
Bad idea for me and him, but it's somewhere floating out there. I just thought about it when you said that. Wow. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I started doing the rap.
Where'd you meet him at? Where'd you meet J Real?
I met them guys in college. They was in college at Prairie View. Yeah. At that part of the game, I started dealing with the street boys. The Colombians, and I was dealing with the street boys.
I want to make sure I keep this floating, so I'm not gonna dig deep into that story right there. But what made you think that J Real would be a good artist? What was it about him? And when was J Real part of a group first? Yeah,
first it was just J Real and his producer Napoleon. J Real and Napoleon. Yeah. Then eventually I put him with some other guys called Explicit. Yeah, I put them all together, and we was kind of it was in the streets. We're dealing with the street boys.
But it was R&B.
R&B and some rap, hip hop. We're doing concerts. Back then we would do shows with Ghetto Boys. Them boys, them Colombians had that money and they needed to do something with it.
Say no more, please say no more.
And so that's how that started way back when.
But it seemed to be that was successful for you though.
Yeah.
Yeah, J Real was successful.
Yeah.
So what makes you say I'm going to continue doing this? And at what point do you quit working at the dealership?
Oh, I'm quit by now. I'm strictly.
So you
yeah.
quit.
My office is at the Arena Tower Theater.
And you said, I'm just gonna put all I got into
Yeah,
this.
we bring in shows. We doing concerts. Again, I like the Street Boys. Something happened with one of my people that changed my life at the time. And I pretty much we were doing real well with the hip hop and the R&B, and something happened. It was a near death experience for me, and there was a death experience for a friend of mine. And the only thing I had left was my cousin's CD, who I was doing as a favor, Reverend E. Stewart and the Stewart Singers, song called "I Believe," and I was just doing it for a favor. I had lots of money and they needed some help, and I'm doing the regular music business. And when this traumatic situation happened, you know, I can remember just sitting down and just looking at that CD that I just produced just to be doing something. And I told God that if He get me out of this, that I'm going to serve Him for the rest of my life. And I got out of it, and that's when I started with that gospel CD, that song "I Believe," and took it worldwide.
Now, was that before? Because I know you had a magazine that you would do in addition to the music you were releasing, the gospel music you were releasing. Was that before all that happened?
That was before. This was in '89.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So
this was in '89, and as I grew,
because wasn't the magazine like a gospel? And I don't remember for sure, to be honest with you, Kerry. I could be lying.
It was called the Gospel Truth Magazine.
It
was called the Gospel Truth Magazine, and it was a full colored, wonderful magazine that had a CD into it.
Right.
And people were like, "Why did you put a CD in this magazine?"
The way you get your music out there.
Yeah. So
very good concept.
Yeah. So it was. I had a way to get my music out there, and just show you how God blessed me, man. That was the largest distributed gospel publication in the world. We went to all of the Walmart stores, all 4,900 of them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I made a good little profit on it because most magazines were priced at $2, $3. My magazine was priced at like $8, $9, $10 because it had a free CD in it, every one of them. So it's a long story how that come up too. And I guess I say all that to say this. And it actually comes up to now in the music business. You have to understand that you're not really in the music business. You are in the sales business. You are in the marketing business. As you notice right now, I don't say a lot about I'm in the record business because it's not a record business. It's a media business right now. And unless you know how to turn that curve and understand how to monetize the media, then you like a brother walking around still wearing a Jerry curl. You know what I mean? And
some are.
Yeah, some are out here still saying, they're operating this business like it used to operate back in the day.
Yeah, but that's not.
But now it's different, and you don't want to operate in the days of fades and bald fades. You don't want to be wearing a Jerry curl. So you need to catch on to what's happening in the music business now. And we teach that. What we do is real deep. A lot of people say, you do gospel music. Well, I do gospel music because it became a passion of mine. I would guess if I put the same time that I put in the same marketing, unique ideas that I put into gospel, if I would have done that in hip hop, I probably would be on the level of a P. Diddy or a Jay-Z, probably bigger, actually. Because one thing about me, I understood marketing, distribution. I understood that very early in the game.
You did. I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Like I said, you were a controversial figure, but you did things your way and no one could doubt the success that you were having. Now, here's my thing. Did you know that you were successful when you were doing what you were doing? And when did you know for sure you were a success at what you were doing?
Actually, I didn't really find out I was a success at what I'm doing until when the CD market crashed.
Okay.
Well, my magazine.
And explain that. You said the CD.
Well,
magazine.
let's say when Obama got in office, the Facebook and Instagram, all that started coming. My magazine, we went out of business after doing millions of dollars in sales with that magazine. We went out of business because life changed as we knew it. So people wasn't reading print anymore. Everybody's jumping on the internet. So we used to manufacture our records, send them to the distributors send them to the record stores. They sell them. Eventually, our money gets back to us every now and then. Sometimes we might get it back, So I was doing well then and didn't really know it because I was selling, on Keith Wonderboy Johnson. We were selling 150, 200,000 records.
And that's independent.
That's independent at $10 a whack.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, we was doing that a lot back then.
That's that's almost like you're really like a major.
Yeah.
Money-wise.
Money-wise, I've always made money in this business like the majors. I mean, in my little world.
Yeah,
I never jump up. I'm never flashy, never this, I'm never. But in my world, I'm happy in my world. And I think that's what I like to say to a lot of entrepreneurs and artists. Find out who you are and be happy in your world and try to make that work for you. Don't worry about what the next man's doing because with too much of that going on right now. We're worried about who got the biggest chain and who got the biggest this. And now we got to worry about who's going to live to the next day because y'all worried about that stuff. But anyway, to answer your question.
Wait, stop. I'm curious because the industry crashed. Why didn't you take the magazine Gospel Truth? Why didn't you just go online with it? Or were you just so blown away, like panic mode, like, I don't know what to do. Oh my God. Because a lot of people did. A lot of people didn't make it during that time.
Right.
Transition was hard. And everybody thought the music industry was dead.
Exactly. Well, I couldn't make that transitions because we didn't understand the internet then either.
I was just trying to get you to say, nobody did. I'm still trying to straighten out stuff from my record label from back then because I didn't care about digital.
Right.
Chamillionaire, who we had on the label, was way ahead of all of us. I thought whatever this kid is doing, hey, I want to do this. Yeah, Chameleon, you do it. I don't care what you do. And now, look at him.
Yeah.
Totally richer than everybody else.
Yes.
So I just wanted you to mention that, like, it was a panic, I think, for a lot of people, that transition from analog and physical property to this digital world where you can't touch anything.
Right.
I'll be honest, it was hard for me. They started talking about MP3s at first, now it's streaming, but at first when they were talking about it was all foreign to all of us.
Yeah, it's still foreign to me. It really is. It's amazing, man, how, let's just talk about like now, I own my own TV network.
Right.
And like 2 years ago, I was just buying all this expensive equipment that I didn't even know how to open the case up on.
You still don't?
Yeah, I still don't know how to open the case. But, if you see things before you see them, that's a good sign. You have to see it before you see it. Because if you don't,
is that you
see it.
now? And I'm asking that because I want to get to the TV stuff and a lot of this stuff, these awards. I really want to get in depth about it. But I really wanted to know who you are. Were you able to see that transition then? Like you said, all of a sudden you were making this money and then that stopped. And you didn't make the transition to digital, but you obviously did something because you got all these awards, and a lot of these awards are just from this year and last year.
Yeah.
And if somebody watching 5 years from now, 2021 and 2022 are these years.
Yeah, and there's a lot of more of them downstairs. I just didn't put them all up.
My community, we call that capping, y'all. But it's true. It's true. I can't be mad for brothers' accomplishments. But instead of panicking, what did you do?
Well, I saw this because, first of all, one thing that I never did back then was I never signed a record deal with my stuff.
But that could have been the downfall of you too.
That's fine.
Okay, I just wanted to throw that out
could
there.
look at it and say that.
Right.
But because I owned all of my masters.
Yes, sir.
And once I decided to get into the digital thing, so now it's like I don't have to manufacture records.
But how'd you know that you had to embrace that? Again, a lot of people were not able to embrace that transition. Why were you able, and how did you know that, okay. I'm only going to survive? Because again, and I'm sorry, y'all, but I got to be clear about this because I had a record label. Well, I have a record label that still exists to this day, just like Mr. Douglas. But a lot of people did not make the transition well. I'm just trying to figure out, how did you make the transition and you're still now in a place where, you know what, I am still successful in this streaming world.
Okay.
Which is also hard because it's gospel.
Yes.
And so you have a different demographic.
Yes.
Who were very
let's
attached to their physical world.
Let's leave it right there.
Okay.
Let's leave it right there. So one of the reasons why I started doing gospel also is I knew that it had a long shelf life.
It does.
So I knew it had a long shelf life.
Very long.
Yeah.
One song can be a hit for
long time. Long time. So yeah. So, and I knew that like in investments, it's sometimes you have your short-term investments and you have your long-term investments.
Yes, sir.
So when the CD market crashed, I still had a layover period with gospel because people were still buying CDs.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Totally. And that's what
yeah. And then also
that market was still a physical market.
Yeah. And then you got to look at, I had a captive market at that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you got church on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
You got church on Wednesday. You got church all the time. So we would go into the churches, sell the CDs hand to hand, sell those CDs, keep our audience going, and we kept it going. And so because I own my own catalog, I didn't have to wait for somebody to send me some product. I manufactured my own product. If I needed to make some money, I book a show and I just go make some money. That was just it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you survived. There was no lull in the period for you. Like I said, when that transition happened, even with the major companies, everybody took a dip. Everybody.
Right.
There's graphs out there that show like everybody like, oh no, Steve Jobs messed it up for all of us.
Yeah.
We're gonna die.
I think all of my lows in life came exclusively through me.
They were personal lows.
They're personal lows.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Never business though.
Yeah, never business. I've always been a successful businessman.
Wow.
I've always, I made.
You don't think you ever took an L anywhere in business? They've all been W's.
I just think the whole picture has been a W.
Absolutely. I got
Yeah.
you.
There's some L's, but the whole picture.
But it's the big
Yeah,
picture
because
is-
I've always like had something else going on. Either I had this hot artist, or I have this great marketing concept, or I could get your record played. So like right now, I can, if I can get my record played, I can get your record played.
Right, I got
But
you.
I'm just going to charge you to get it played.
All right, before you start capping again.
No, I'm just saying.
No, I want to ask, because to me, and I know you will correct me, but for me, I didn't really go, oh, Kerry out there really doing it, until I saw James Fortune. Like some of the other names you mentioned before him, I was not that privy of it, because I got out the gospel world because it was hurting me. I had some gospel artists too,
Yeah.
and I think when you're doing it for the Lord, there were just other things at play, and it just didn't sometimes.
Right.
Anyway, I don't want to.
Well, you was too good of a guy. See, they call me the Suge Knight of gospel, which I don't like that. I didn't like that name.
Well,
I didn't like that name.
It seemed appropriate.
Nah.
I think you're a good person, but you do have a very aggressive. At one time, you had a very aggressive personality, and here's the funny thing: I never took it as bad. I think you knew what you wanted, you knew how you wanted it, and I think you, for whatever reason, you were arrogant enough to believe that you were going to get it.
Yes.
And what I've noticed, and this is why I do this, and this is not arrogant in the I'm better than you way, but there's an arrogance in a lot of the entrepreneurs that I talk to, because you believe whatever it is in there, you actually believe you can do it. And it makes you different from other people. And the reason why I talk to people like you and all the other ones is I'm trying to find out what that is and why everyone is not born to have it. And is it because of something that happened in their life? Like, I'm listening to things in your past and I'm like, oh, this tells me why this guy was super focused on this, because I ain't have time to worry about no friends because nobody was befriending me, and they were calling me names because I was darker than them. I'm picking out all this.
Yeah.
And so it extra made him focus on, well, you know what? I'm going to be so successful that your name calling, you're this, you're that. you have to respect me.
Right.
So I just find it interesting that you're able to make the transition that you've made and watch. So to me, using the Suge Knight name is not in disrespect, but it's your person. It's your, I got this goal, and my artist is going to be number one. Mm-hmm. And until that happens, I'm not going to stop. I'm a Suge Knight my way through this, even though it's gospel. Mm-hmm. And so I think sometimes that's why people take it that way. But if I'm an artist, this is going to sound bad. I'm going to want the Suge Knight guy of gospel to be that guy for me.
Right. Yeah. Well, you got to look, man, like the magazine. I mean, I told you, I don't remember if I even graduated from high school. I went up there.
I didn't
even open up the little thing, so I'm not really for sure that it was really a
you graduated.
Yeah, but
I understand that wasn't your concern.
Yeah, can you imagine a guy? I'm not the brightest one in the school. But I owned one of the largest gospel magazines. I owned a magazine. I orchestrated a deal to put a magazine into Walmart. That's I orchestrated that deal, man.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a different time too. To hear that in 2022, somebody like, oh, that might be simple, but
no, that's not simple.
It's still not simple.
No,
but back then it was really, really hard, especially being a person of color.
Yes,
trying to get some product in there.
Impossible.
Yeah. So.
And just real quick story. Even when I got them to bring the magazine in, I'm thinking I done overcame the situation, but guess what they said? Oh, Mr. Douglas, you can have this magazine in our stores, but you need to give us 4,000 corrugated boxes. I said, what's a corrugated box? Oh, that's a little thing that sits on the thing there.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how much that box cost? Oh, wholesale cost about $30. $30 times 4,000, and you want to put it? Oh, wow. Can you imagine? Poor black boy.
But you figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah. See, something that black people don't know. If somebody give you an invoice, you can factor that invoice.
Now, what does that mean? No, for real. Somebody's watching, they're like, what does that mean?
So if a company, a Fortune 500 company like Anderson or Walmart, but Anderson was a distributor for Walmart, mm-hmm. They give you an invoice and say, we ordered 20,000 magazines, and that invoice is $800,000 or whatever. You can go to companies and say, I have this invoice. I want you to factor, lend me money with my bad credit self at the time.
But I'm showing you.
I already got this
thing. Right. So I'm going to probably sell X amount, a percentage of that. So front me the dollars.
Front me the dollars.
So I'll be able to do what I got to do.
So I can pull off this thing.
Absolutely.
And I learned that because in that process of me doing business, I had got into the trucking business.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like you said, a serial entrepreneur. So when I figured out that when you go and do a load, and there's companies that pay you for your loads before the big company pays you, I say, well, if they factor my loads, I can see if I can get them to factor my invoices.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long story how that whole thing happened.
But I'm glad.
I'm saving that for my movie.
Okay, a movie.
Yeah. We ain't talking about me. We getting into film now. We're getting into film and television.
Is the movie gonna be about you? That now we're so. I'm gonna get back to where I was, but okay. It's gonna be a movie about you.
I got to do one about my life story.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to do it because it's pretty interesting.
I think a lot of the things you said. Here's what's intriguing. This is gonna throw the people off, but your life is different. This is gonna sound really bad, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Your life is a little different when you're dark skinned.
Yes, and when you talk about that,
I don't know how to have that conversation. I think only when you're dark skinned you get it, because people are like, oh, you just black, because black people already have a situation. But even within our community, there's black and then there's colorism. Black.
Yeah. Look at that. Too. We at the bottom. We at the bottom, baby. That's why we got to fight hard.
Right. So your mentality is different, and I'm not saying everybody that's dark skinned, their fight is different. Because sometimes it's just. It might be just life. Right. And everybody handles life differently. Your handling it was you became successful. Somebody else may not be able to break barriers or to be strong enough to walk through name calling or seeming different than everybody else. And being able to position yourself and get on top. Again, there's something and I use the word arrogance again, and I'm probably using the wrong word, but there's something inside of you that says, I don't care what they say, I'm still going to achieve. I'm going to still have the beautiful woman. I'm going to still have this. Because I had that problem when I was young, too. I'll come with this girl that looks like this, and my friends would be like, that's not your girlfriend. I'm like,
yeah.
Because because I look a certain way, or I have a certain color, you don't think I have the ability to have this kind of woman.
We had to fight harder. We had to talk harder.
But I'm like, that's your low self-esteem.
Right.
I didn't feel like, for me, I had time
let's say high self-esteem instead of arrogance.
Self-esteem. Your self-esteem is different. I like that. I like that.
Sometimes it's over. It's really, really, really high. So
you have to have it, and there's nobody there to prop you up when you fall, so to speak. Especially because I can tell now you're a loner. I was the same way. There's nobody there for real. There's nobody there that says, "Oh, son, do it," or "Kid, do it." There has to be something in you that says, "I'm gonna make it regardless.
I'm gonna succeed." Yeah.
So in that, my dark skinned brother, I'm gonna salute you too. But that's not what this story about. Okay. The dark skin story, another day. You've made all these achievements. I don't know anything about. I know that you are out there doing something, Mr. Douglas. I don't really know that you out there doing it until I see James Fortune. What was it about Fortune that made you say, "Oh yeah, he has it"?
Well, James Fortune came to me with a CD trying to sound like Kirk Franklin. And I told him, "Hey, no, you need to go back and, you can do you don't sing, but you can do your talk stuff. But I think you should just minister over music. Kirk does a lot of kind of chanting and rapping over the music." I told James, "Look, go and do minister over the music." So James was the first mainstream, quote unquote, to gospel artist that I had. He was the first one that looked good.
Okay. I never really thought about it.
Yeah, I was dealing with quartet music. I was dealing with traditional quartet music.
So you would look now, so you making him a sex symbol of gospel. I never thought about
well,
this.
Well, it's not that. I'm just saying it was mainstream.
You thought that he had an appealing look that could cross over.
That ain't even crossing over. It's just
you sound just as bad as the folks did in the early days of R&B.
Unfortunately, it wasn't even because you got to look at that time. Gospel music was going from the Canton spirituals to Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
So Kirk Franklin
and Kirk had his own.
Yeah.
He had his own boundaries on him too. He had to fight through because what he did.
Short man complex, right?
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay.
I love Kirk. I think, but he was in a battle too because he was not traditional.
Right.
So when Kirk comes out, he's almost blasphemy.
Yeah.
So to see guys like him and what you've done with the James Fortunes and the like is pretty incredible because it changed the industry. Because the industry was one particular way for a long time.
They were gatekeepers.
And they wouldn't let anybody, take it from me, because I had, paid it for, I had the soul music side of gospel. You couldn't get in.
Not unless you couldn't kick your door down.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad you used that word. Thank you.
Ignite them.
Sometimes I know you put stuff out there the way it is. Yeah. That's not what this is about. But yeah, you actually fought through in a way that, and I just couldn't do it, Mr. Douglas.
Right. You're a good guy. You're a good guy.
No, it's not that I'm good.
You're a good black man. I'm a bad black man.
If you say, I'm gonna just say this and then we're gonna move on. If you say you're doing it for Jesus and you're doing it for the Lord, that's what we got to be doing it for.
Right.
Now, once you learn that there's other things at play for a layman, a guy that was not of it, it was confusing for me.
Yes.
And after I saw that, I'm like, I don't want to participate in that game.
Right.
I already understood it from a hip hop perspective because I had those artists and did not want to participate. I did not want to participate. Even if your artist was good and would still make waves, the game still made you participate. Even though you're like, I'm not doing that. Well, I know you already got these 50 spins, but if you really want them to keep doing what they're doing, anyway, I don't want to go there. If y'all want that, y'all can talk to us independently off video because I don't want to disparage the industry that gave me so much.
Right.
So that's not what this is about. It's about Kerry Douglas and his enormous rise to power.
we ain't made it all the way there yet. We still got a lot of energy.
And I don't want to tell too much of it because I know now that you told me that you're trying to do your own story, and I think it's an interesting story. I just think you're interesting, Suge Knight. I'm sorry, Kerry Douglas. No disrespect to Suge, but I really do think your story is interesting. Now, just a little bit more about Fortune. When did you know? Did you know immediately? What did you hear? What song did you hear? You like, oh, we're pushing this to the top.
The song,
nothing that you did was accidental.
No,
it was all purposeful.
Yeah.
Some people, everything I did on my label was all accident. Paul and Cam, accident. Everything was an accident. Thank you, God. It was all accident, though.
No, the song "You Survived." That was his first song, and I knew at that time he was a special songwriter because he's a songwriter. A lot of people. He's not a singer. He's a writer. So he's a great songwriter.
And he's great. Yeah. No doubt.
And I knew that we'd build him, and he would become a stable in the gospel community.
You felt that from jump.
Yeah, I knew it.
See, that's that arrogant thought I was talking about. But it's not arrogance. It's just your belief that, this can go to the top.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yes.
And James becomes this phenom.
Yeah, and we packaged Zacardi with him. So we knew we was going to do the same thing that the rappers were doing. But before
I knew that Zacardi was special. I knew Zacardi was special. I didn't even know Zacardi was on your label.
Oh yeah.
And then you had this one big song. This is when I was still working in radio, and a lot of people didn't know that I was a APD music director at Magic, and I was just trying to be supportive because Zacardi was the homeboy. I'm like, oh yeah, this is Magic, older. Oh yeah, we can play some gospel up over here. And then like, oh, that's Kerry Douglas. Kerry Douglas. What are you doing with Zacardi, man? His whole family, by the way, is incredible.
Yes.
His whole family is
insane.
Oh my God, I've never.
Yeah.
They should be tearing down the industry, but that's a whole nother story.
So we were doing the feature back then. Everybody now they do features.
Right.
Yeah, I was already on the features, so I knew that.
I understand you're a trailblazer.
Yeah,
sir.
I knew this was going to come out of that. Yeah.
And so you featured him on something in
all of James' stuff. Because James isn't
you're right.
James isn't a singer.
Right. That's
James
right.
is a writer.
I'm sorry. You got to remind me. That's why I'm here talking to you. You got to remind me. Yeah, you're right. And what made you say, "Oh, I just need to put him on"?
Phenomenal voice, man.
It was, man.
He's got the best voice in the industry. I think R&B or gospel. He's got a phenomenal.
He's
voice.
very deserving of whatever he gets, man. It's like Houston is really. And this is on so many other levels. There's so many.
Talented individuals.
Crazy talented. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy that this guy was able to break through, especially in God. I'm telling you, man, I don't know. And that's my other question to you. What gives you this magical gift where you were able to cut through in gospel? Here's this black dude, as you like to say, blacker than everybody else. The name of your label is Black Smoke Music. You're proud of it and you wear your darkness with pride.
Yes.
How were you able to, as we call it, Suge Knight your way through and have the successes and number ones that you've been able to do? What is it?
Man, this is really just the grace of God. God anoints you in so many different ways. And like, I don't know why he put his favor on me. I have no idea. I don't even deserve it. I don't.
I agree. You don't deserve it. No,
I don't deserve it.
No,
man.
but you have an eye. And a lot of people just don't have it.
Right.
So I'm really trying, at this point now, I've learned some of your story. There's more obviously to tell. You can tell it when you have your story to tell. But how do you have the eye to know that these people that you're hooking up with, finding, co-dealing with, whatever, that they have it? Well,
this might sound a little arrogant.
Go ahead. That's what this is.
Actually, they got me.
Okay.
There's a lot of talent out here.
Yeah, there is.
It's a lot of in the car business. There's an ass for every seat. Well, there's a talent born every day. Somebody's born every day. So once you have your pattern laid out, like okay, so if I'm looking at you, if I see you, you got a good performance. If you got a good following, you got to have some things laid out. I like to talk about the industry like this. I like to tell artists, a record label is no different than a bank. When you go to purchase your car, your home, the first thing the bank is going to ask you is, what's your credit score? Right? So when I look at an artist credit, what's your artist score?
Okay.
So if you're going to buy a house, it's what's your credit score?
Okay.
If you're going to buy a car, it's what's your credit score? Because they're going to give you that money based on your previous credit. So I'm going to look at you and say, what's your artist score?
And you base that on what?
I base that on your social media presence right now. I base that on your performance, your workability. Because if you want to go get a house.
Even in gospel, you worried about social?
Oh yeah.
Really? I didn't know.
What church you're affiliated with?
What that got to do with it? I'm a good singer.
I mean, you got to know. There's a lot of good singers. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of good singers. There's a lot of good. Matter of fact, the best people in gospel don't even sing.
Okay.
They're marketers. So it's understanding the industry. And a lot of people need to understand you are your own, you are the person that makes it happen for you. Like record labels, we're about to be gone. So we have to understand how to reinvent ourselves as a record company.
I'm glad you brought that up. So
Yeah.
how do you reinvent yourself now that you realize, like, okay, I'm not a record company anymore? What are you then?
Be connected in different marketing tools, marketing situations. Understand the business relationships. Like you have to build relationships. Relationships is taking me places that money would never take me. Just simple relationships.
So business is still about relationships.
Business is
Like
still
some
about,
of the stuff for a reason I'm highlighting when you say it because it can apply to anything,
Yes.
not just what you do.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still relationships. I mean, I had a relationship with you and you got a relationship with me.
Absolutely.
There's people that I might want to be connected to, that you connected, that you could hook me up through your relationship based on some of the things that you know that I got and I can do.
Absolutely.
For instance, we met a guy earlier today about a video guy who, because relationship, he knows animations and hey, I'm trying to create this kids program that needs to be animated. It's all about, everything is about relationships.
I got you.
And that's something that we don't understand and we're not maturing enough. We're not nurturing enough is our relationships.
Well, okay, let me say this too about relationships. It's hard because a person like, they might not know how to establish that relationship. They might not know who they need to be talking to. And they don't want to come across like they're using somebody, like, oh, I'm just getting to know this person so I can use them. A lot of your relationships with people that you've done business with, you've got to know, you know them, and then all of a sudden, hey man, could you possibly help me out with this? I'll help you out with that. You know what I'm saying? So your business is a byproduct of some of the relationships that you have as well.
I just told you earlier, it's hard for me to even develop relationships. That was one of the hardest things. That was one of the hardest things for me to do. So if that was the hardest thing for me to do.
I find that so hard to believe. I mean, I understand your story now. I'm glad you said that though. Yeah, a guy that was so blocked off, how does he start establishing relationships with people? Because to me, you have an ease of talking. If we had to take your phone out of here, because I know that you'll keep talking on the phone, trying to do 4 different things at one time. I know your wife hates you.
Yes.
Because you're trying to be a daddy, trying to be a businessman. Then you'll have 3 or other 4 things. Because like I said, you're a serial entrepreneur.
We had 2 meetings going on
while I was here.
Right, while you're here.
You're supposed to be in a meeting now.
Yeah,
but that's just
hey,
you.
But I got the meeting people listening to the interview and they're going to catch on to who I am right then and right there.
This guy.
So they'll know about everything.
But how did you, was it a barrier you had to break as a person?
I think you just have to be good at what you do. Just be good at it because
you're not afraid to talk to people. Even though you might say that you're a little blocked off, I've not ever known you to be one who, and you're not scary either.
No.
There's some figures that you would have conversations with knowing that it could compromise your physicalness.
Right.
I'll put it like that. But you're one of those people that you could still have that conversation. And as far as I know, you've always pretty much come out unscathed. So it's also a skill that you have. Everyone doesn't have that. Why do you think you have it?
It was embedded in me, my life.
Can somebody that does not have
that skill, you can learn it. I mean, you can learn a skill. You can learn that. I mean, I learned mine from just the bottom up ground. You're doing it. And another thing about relationships, man. So I was telling you earlier about this young man that back
the Lacey kid that you met years ago that you hooked up that you didn't know that you was touching his life.
Yeah, I never knew I was touching his life.
I think Fetty Wap, he's done some mixing and mastering for who else? There was Orbit. What was some of them other names he mentioned? Erica Banks, he did like all of her stuff, if I'm not mistaken. It was somebody else, but he's doing a lot of work.
He's got a lot of what is that record he got that's triple, what did y'all call it? Triple diamond?
Oh yeah.
I think that was the Fetty Wap. Fetty Wap is the one that went.
So let me just tell you about this kid, man. He's about 18, 19 years old. I was at the Guitar Center. I went in there to buy my son this drum machine, and met the kid. Name was Jay Lacey. I didn't know. Like I told you, I always buy stuff and don't know what to do with it. So
cereal, all kinds of problems you got. Cereal buyer, just
So I paid him. He came to the house. He set up my little in-house studio back then. It's over 20 years ago, and he was there. He stayed there. He, learned how to work the stuff, and he learned his engineering skills right there. Wow. So now 20 years later, he's over there making traveling the world, making big money, making millions of dollars. And he just reminded me of this the other day. Wow. I was at the studio with Creflo Dollar in Atlanta. I flew back and I got this text.
Creflo Dollar doing music?
Yeah.
I ain't the gospel word. I don't know.
Yeah, we just did a deal.
God damn. In our community, what he did is called capping. But it's all good.
No. But anyway,
Creflo don't sing though,
huh? But he
gonna do his thing now.
Ministering over music.
Yeah. I got you, brother. I got you. Say no more.
Yeah,
congratulations, Mr. Creflo Dollar, and I know it will be a fruitful venture for you.
But J.C. Lacey reminded me, man, you poured into my life at a time, that I didn't even know. I never went back to work again. The minute I met you, I never went back to work.
I think it's interesting how God can use people. Like, I know people say, like, you're the Suge Knight. You got this, you got somewhat of a dastardly. But you have helped so many people. And I think and in your world,
you interviewed a guy, Chose, my cousin.
By the way, DJ Chose, this guy's related to DJ Chose. I don't even think he knew that DJ Chose was as big as DJ Chose is. This guy's related to him, which is crazy that y'all related and y'all have not necessarily. I think he used to work for you. You one time told me, I think.
DJ Chose was in my studio with my sons the same time Jay Lacey was.
And y'all have done nothing.
Years.
Working
he spent years
this is
there.
wild.
Yeah, he spent years there. And
when are y'all gonna sit down and say, "Hey, cuz"?
We good, man. I'm proud.
But
of it.
You're right. Y'all good. But he's good in his world.
Yeah.
He is huge. Had a huge song last year. I love Chose, man. Chose did a song for me, man. You probably forgot he even did it. Chose like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, man. Chose.
Good dude.
Yeah,
good
Chose.
dude.
Yeah, but when he was 15 to about 17, he was right there in my house. Just like we sit.
Now, why didn't I got to break since you brought it up. Why has he never come to you and asked for advice or how to get out there? Or did he just watch you do it and was like, I'm going to just go do it?
Yeah. He watched me, but he also got advice from him, but he watched.
Oh, did he? Okay.
He watched.
But he's never come to you. I mean, here it is. He got he got a family member that can get #1 records. It's okay, man. Everybody have their path. Like Jay Lacey. He did it his path. Way. Yes, sir.
Chose did it his way. Everybody do it different ways, and it's all good. I'm supportive of it and love him, man. That's my cousin.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all from down there in Brookshire and Sunnyside together. So I'm sure that I've been an inspiration to him before he had an inspiration.
He probably would not want to admit that, but
I was an inspiration to him before he had it.
I'm gonna have to ask Chose. I want to ask him.
He'll tell you the truth on that.
I think he would. I don't think he'd.
That's my man. I mean,
I just think it's interesting that you guys are both, in this industry of music per se. Mm-hmm. He is as popular and big as he is in his world, and you are, the king of your castle in your world, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of interesting. But y'all have no connection whatsoever. Like, we're gonna do this.
No, we have all the connection. Trust me.
Okay.
Trust me.
Okay.
That is the connection.
Okay.
Trust me. At that point in his life, he didn't have anybody to look up to but me.
I got you. I feel you.
He didn't have a studio to go to. He went to my studio.
Right.
So no.
I'm sure he's appreciative. I'm sure he appreciates it. We'll ask.
Like Jay Lacey called me and told me thank you.
Oh God.
Yeah, Jay Lacey called me told me thank you.
I'm sure Chose call is coming soon.
Okay.
I ain't saying it's coming this week, but I'm saying it's
coming. Yeah, that's my boy though.
You got all this music. Where'd you find Pastor Mike? How'd you get in?
Was out with James Fortune. Not only did I find Pastor Mike at his church, I found my lovely wife there. And and she changed my
Not
life.
only am I picking you, I'm taking you with me all the way to the top two. Baby.
Both of them.
Really?
Yeah,
now, where is this at?
In Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama.
And you left Houston for a while. Now,
I had to
was there a
leave.
reason? He said, I had to leave.
Yeah,
was it hot on these streets or what?
It just, man, just sometimes your life can go into a downward spiral. It goes into a downward spiral. And if
But you're talking about personally.
Yeah, personal.
Your personal life.
Yeah.
Yeah, your personal life has always had a bit of action to it.
Yeah, well, divorces and...
Okay, I was going to use the word turmoil. Since you said divorce, I can use the word turmoil.
Yeah, I had 3 or 4.
But it never, but 3 or 4 of them and 13 kids.
Yeah.
Whew, this brother still a success. By the way, nothing should be able to stop you.
Nothing.
Do it. But you said you needed to make that move. Was a great move for you?
It was the best move of my life. Yeah, it was the best move. That like I said, I wasn't here mentally. Just doing a lot.
None of that stuff seems to ever affect your business.
Yeah, I think
you got these kids. You said you had these divorces. Your personal life just sounds like it's in total shambles, but your business is impeccable. How can this dichotomy even play out?
I think I put more value on my business than I even do life.
We got to talk after we get off the camera.
Yeah, I think sometimes we do that. Like
your wife is good for you. It seems like she's able to balance you a bit.
Yeah.
Now she had to include herself in your mix of madness, I see. But I think
totally opposite.
Yeah, oh,
She's
absolutely.
Totally opposite.
I can believe that.
Yeah, totally opposite.
Sometimes that's what you need, though.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
She's a good woman.
I'm glad you got that.
Yeah.
You need it, man.
Yeah, bad.
Hopefully she can take those boundaries that sounds like you have up. But you know what? Truthfully, it sounds like a lot of them, even us sitting here, have come down.
Yeah.
You know, like I said before, I've seen you all these years, and Kerry of 20 years ago is just like Mad Hatter of 20 years ago. You know, somebody meet you now. Like everybody always on Instagram, Hatter, you're just so different now. You just seem happy. And I feel bad about, here's some, person that just followed my life because of,
Yeah, they followed you for 20-some years.
And they can see that you're in a better space. Some of that makes me a little sad. I don't know about for you.
Well, because
they saw you, they appreciate what you were, but they can see, oh, now he's...
Sometimes when we hear Hatter, we miss out on life.
You do.
And
that's what my life was.
Yeah.
It missed out.
You miss out on life because you're thinking where you are. Like you said, my business, sometimes I think my business is my life, and that's not your life. Business is not your life. Your life is your family, your wife, your children. That's what life really is.
We're not taught that enough. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's something that I hope you teach it with your little young ones now. I know you probably feel like you missed out on some of the older ones.
Sure did.
But you gotta instill that now. And I'm a better person. Like having my kid much older now, my kid will get the benefit of love being the most important thing, not money. And I was so focused. I missed a lot.
Remember I asked you something earlier today? You know what I asked you earlier today? I said, man, do you keep your little baby?
You see what I said? I text you like, hey man, can I bring my wife and kid? Because I didn't want to because I feel like I can't leave her alone. I got to participate fully in what she's going through.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times we don't understand what women are going through when they have these children for us. And man, they are so strong. And when you, I'm seeing it in a totally different way now. Even with my older kids that I, adopted, it was different. I was a different person with them. And my appreciation now is so different for just women. Not, I always loved women, obviously. But to see them and you go through the process of what
having that baby, and they carrying that baby for 9 months, that baby come out.
And with the baby crying and, she just need to walk to the bathroom for a minute.
Yeah.
You got to be a participant in that. So I'm learning a lot that I probably should have learned. Me and you kind of the same in that. There's a lot of lessons but you know what? We're all human beings and we're all constantly learning.
And growing.
And all growing. And if it stopped, we probably wouldn't be humans.
Right.
And it's great that Kerry Douglas has grown to a place where, and there's moments of probably Suge still in there. We need to quit doing that to Suge.
Yeah,
too.
man.
We use that. Everybody uses Suge name when they think bolden through an industry.
I would rather get the Barry Gordy.
You are that though. You are that. Here's the thing. It's not like I don't really ever, in my opinion, now somebody might say, how do you ain't seen it? I've never really seen you bullying. You just have a way of fighting and persuasively getting to where you need to get to.
Yeah.
And for some people, they're not willing to ask those hard questions and say those hard things. You one of those kind of people? You are.
Mm-hmm.
So you are where you are. I got to ask, I know you have all this success with the music, but I know you slightly mentioned the television network thing that you're doing. Talk about Believe It?
Yeah, that's what's next for Kerry Douglas Black Smoke Music, the Believe It network.
And I didn't believe you had the network. You had to show me. And I'm like, what are you doing with it? And you do so much. You're like, it's there. I'm working it. I'm like, this guy he has too much going on.
Yeah.
You literally need to find you a team first, so you can be able to run out there and do all the mess you like to do. So a lot of times I'm surprised you're able and we're able to accomplish all the things.
Oh no, I have
because you're so.
But I have a great team with me.
Okay.
They're just a lot of them are virtual. I have a great team of people that are virtual, and I'm always getting people because once you so we have to create platforms now. Like we can't make it as Black people anymore selling hamburgers, chicken. You know, we got to build platforms to build wealth for our community, and that's what I'm into now. And the OTT platform with TV networks is it's the most fastest growing. It's the candy that advertisers want to be into right now. It's the platform that the Fortune 500 companies, they want to be on these platforms because these formats is television. You know, there's all television is app based now. It's all app based. Yeah. But the algorithms with these formats now, you know, I was watching Tubi and I was watching one of the Black movies and it said six advertisements going to come on, and it was 6 companies in this area. So they're targeted.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's targeted now. So you have to understand. You have to understand the future. And overseas, these things is really popping right now. So we're a little late over here, but I'm never late. I'm on it. So I'm just rolling with that. So yeah, we're gonna be shooting our own original content. We're gonna be shooting a lot of documentaries. We're taking the videos and turning them into video shows. And we're doing all that to create.
Now, is it going to be all gospel based?
No, it's called the Believe It.
Okay.
I'm about helping. Yeah, I'm about helping people.
Inspirational.
Yeah.
Not inspirational. I don't want to use the word clean.
This could be family friendly.
There you go.
Yeah, inspiration, family. Yeah. But if you can believe it. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. So whatever it is, and I just want to let that known to the world.
How long is the network? How long has it been on? Because I know you showed me on Roku.
It's actually up on Roku and everything, but we haven't launched it yet. So it's still in beta. Okay. It's still in beta. We're shooting content.
It's there.
Yeah.
So because I downloaded the app,
right.
So you can download
see it. You can see it, right. But it's not. It ain't what you're gonna see.
You still working on it. That's okay. That's okay. You have it though.
Oh, it's there, baby.
Everybody can't say I got it on my own network.
Yeah.
Download my app, son.
Yeah. Believe It Network.
Okay.
You can download it and watch good programming right now. And there's much more to come. Man, I know this interview's kept you for a while. This is
good. Listen, I know most times when people do interviews, and you probably included, like, oh yeah, I got all this stuff and I got to spew it out. I really do this because I'm just interested in people. And because remember, we did this at the spur of the moment, you know. My guys that do the camera work
yesterday.
Like, here's the days I can work. And I was just talking to you and I'm like, Kerry's so interesting. And my brain said, interview Kerry. This guy is huge in his industry. People know who he is. He's an interesting character that I've seen in Houston have my life. I said, and I've never had a conversation with this guy. I've had conversations with you. We've talked business before. We talked all kinds of stuff. I said, but I don't know. I didn't know you were from Brookshire. I didn't know that. I know that you're related to Chose. You know, we find out those kind of things. But a lot of this other stuff you told me I didn't know. It's interesting to hear somebody who went through some of the things you went through because you are dark skinned. That's a whole nother story that you can get into about colorism in our community. Still happens to this day. So I just wanted to know about you. And I know you got a ton of stuff going on. And people, if they follow you on social media and stuff, as you should, and I'm definitely going to give you an opportunity so you can put all that out there, that they can do that. But this might be, I do this totally for me because I want to know. It's interesting for me to find out what makes people tick. Why did Kerry succeed when there were so many obstacles? I moved around my family. I didn't go deep into it, but there's a reason why you're moving around a lot with your family. I didn't hear you say anything about a father. See, I pick up on all this. So how did this person fight through and persevere? To me, that's the story. Like, look at the success of this guy. No matter what in life, you can make it happen. This guy that nobody thought would be like a Suge Knight figure gets called the Suge Knight of this particular industry, as we laugh about it. But that's saying that this guy doesn't play. He's about his business and he's going to make it happen. That's what it says. So why do you have it? Again, that's on every interview you will see me doing this podcast because I'm trying to figure out why him or why her. And not in a bad way, but why do you have the arrogance to believe that you can and other people don't have it?
Right.
And that's what the problem is with most of us. So they'll sit back and they'll be mad at Kerry. They'll hate on Kerry.
Oh, big time.
As opposed to just sitting there and saying, let me get up off my ass and see if I can make something happen. But why did this guy have it? Why did this lady have it? So it's me totally just trying to understand human nature and people that are right beside you that you never really dug into to find out who they are. And I know more about you now, so I feel a little differently about Kerry.
Oh, well, that's good. But I want people to...
I mean, he's still a thug.
I want people to know they don't have to, success is...
It's not money.
It's really not money.
Yeah.
Success
but we've been told that it is, Mr. Douglas.
Yeah.
We think that this is success. But this might not even be. I asked Crazy C, who is a good friend of mine and the producer and the mix and all that. I asked him what success was for him. And I thought, what was his most successful remix of music? He refused to tell me anything about his music. He kept saying, my wife, my family. I'm like, yeah, but I'm talking about something else. And he was like, nah, man, that really is it. Like, nah, man, what's your... And he was like, no, I did all that. But my biggest achievement for me as a human being, my success was when I hit that. And I'm like, and see, that's what this is all about.
Yeah, I think that's why we're having so much violence right now. The main thing ain't the main thing. What we thinking is the main thing, that's not the main thing.
But that's what we taught.
Yeah.
And it looks good. It looks like Kerry, you live in a big house, you got nice cars, you got platinum plaques and gold plaques. I can see what we would call success and achievement just by looking at your wall. Your wall is saying to me, oh, this guy is successful in what he does. Does he think he's successful because of what he does, or is there something else that makes him feel like, no, I'm successful because I achieved this? The ability to be an entrepreneur and work for self. Never have to worry about another man giving me $1. I'll go out there and scrape the streets and I'll make my own. To me, that's the success right there.
That's a good one, though. Yeah.
There's never been a time you have, and I hate to use the phrase, people might hate it, but you kill what you eat. And you do it unabashedly.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool.
But I just think that we have a problem with our black rappers, our people out here right now. I really think we have a big problem, and I think there needs to be a forum where we can really talk about it. Of course, I don't know if I want to be sitting in a room with some of the... I'd almost have to zoom them. I had to zoom that meeting.
You know what?
But there needs to be something that we could talk about what's going on right now, because right now
it's really bigger than rap.
Yeah,
I think.
Rap music is headed for a collision of dooms. It's about to be doomed. Somebody has to stop, has to talk. We have to have a meeting of the minds, because it ain't even about these jokes. It ain't even about making money. They're out of control.
Well, this is where I will depart with you, because I love, if it wasn't for that industry, if it wasn't for rap, I'm not who I am. It's like my best friend. Listen, we've always had, people have problems in their communities. Take the music away from it, and you put people in the same conditions and you still have the same problem. We're really talking about an economic problem. You're talking about an education problem. I don't want to say that it's the rapper's problem because the rapper has gold on and he's talked about, crazy salacious stuff in his lyrics, so I got to kill him. I am of that industry, and I don't believe that. I just believe that people see somebody with it and they want it and they'll take it. And unfortunately, there's wolves out there and they don't care if you're a big time rapper. If you're a big time rapper and you got the kahunas to come in my neighborhood where you might not be from wearing what you're wearing and I ain't got it, I'll probably try to take it from you. So I don't think the problem is much deeper than the rapper who raps about all this stuff and he's shining. I love it that they shining. Man, shine as much as you want. I'm for real. If you were able to get that Bentley because you spit those lyrics or you worked hard for it, bro, get that Bentley. And I want you to stunt as often and as often as you can. You should be stunting. I want to see you stunt. I want to see you in your Bentley. I want to see you looking good. I don't have a problem with that. What we do have to learn though is just because I see you with a Kerry, don't mean I got to take you out to get yours. Yeah. So again, for me, the problem is not the rapper and the lyrics. The problem is the community in which he is from, and I am envious of you, or I'm gonna take what you got because I'm hungry, and that's a societal education problem. That's these neighborhoods where they ain't getting no help. The problem is much deeper than the rapper. I think sometimes, even the media is just easier to point to, like, look at what's happening to the rappers. They dying. Go to that rapper where he from, his community. They dying regularly over there. We don't have to let's not just talk about the one big rapper that died. God bless him and RIP. Let's talk about the people from the community in which he's from that's dying. Why are they dying? Why do they have this mentality? Why is the rapper rapping about what he's rapping about? One, he's been taught that that's how you make money. Because if you teach him that he can rap like Chuck D, or whomever, or Common or something like that, or even J. Cole. J. Cole is not talking about murdering nobody. Fayetteville to the fullest, baby. J. Cole, we see you, baby. You representing, son. You representing the Ville nice. But the point I'm trying to make is it can be done. Right. We just need, media sometimes has a way of not showcasing that, though. It showcases murder, kill, like the one song once said. But the problem to me is a societal issue. It is a education issue, and it's going into these communities and giving opportunity to those that don't have. So for the Kerry Douglases, this is when you create foundations like myself, and we figure out what can we do with some money to help turn some of this. And you try to do what you can. What I've learned in the years that I've done this, sometimes you may only touch one person. You may only save one person.
That's fine.
But if you save that one person who then grows up to be president or somebody that moves the world, and it was just that one person that changed, because, all it takes is one person.
It's one person. So,
and you never know who that, Lacey. If the guy don't meet you and probably come to your studio, is he doing what he's doing now? He's a positive brother, putting music out there, making money, changing lives. Ultimately, that's what it's all about. Even in this right here, man, everything I do has to be about purpose. Yeah. People used to always say, oh, what's your passion? I'm not passionate about this. I have a purpose because I hope that somebody hears what Kerry said. Yeah, you learn about him, but if there's something that they can take away from this to help them be a better human being, and then maybe they can go help somebody else, or maybe dig themselves out, the situation there. That's my hope, man. Yeah. And I hope, and believe it or not, even Kerry Douglas has the ability to make that happen. And the truth of the matter is, no matter what somebody says about you, what their things is, or the negative things you said that they might feel about you, the truth of the matter is, the flip side is, you actually helped a lot of people. Yes. No matter how bad somebody might think, this guy actually helped a lot of people. Every day. And you got to at least salute him and give him a God bless him for that. Right. You changed some lives, and some people are in much better positions just because, believe it or not, Kerry Douglas came across him.
Or check this out, just the songs, the millions and millions and millions of views.
Absolutely.
It touches people's lives every day. Again, I don't know why.
And you got something to do with that.
Yeah, I don't know why God put me in that position, but
the shit not a gospel. I find that unbelievable.
It's a powerful position to be in. When you just go and look at the comments on these songs and how many people's lives they done touched this and that, man, it brings tears to your eyes. So,
I commend you for that, by the way, bro. Because everybody can't say that. No matter what they say about you, They can't say that. And however this force in the world is using you for that purpose, to maybe, because somebody maybe heard one of them songs that was going through something or about to do something.
About to take one of them chains. You may have said it.
And it made them say, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Or, you know, it just uplifted their spirits for a moment because maybe they were having a bad moment. So I still have to commend Kerry Douglas in that, man. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy and do a ton of stuff that I'll never understand. But you have been successful, so I salute you for that. I don't have nothing bad to say about you.
Hey, man, I want you to join. I just want you to jump on board. Join the team, baby. Let us do something together.
I'll have somebody say, man, Kerry Douglas, blah, blah, blah.
Well, all they can say is Kerry Douglas, though. They can't say nothing but the word. Oh, Kerry Douglas. Kerry Douglas,
it's
what?
A noun, an adjective, and an adverb.
Let's go, baby.
But I really appreciate it, man. You know, congratulations on all your successes, man. They give you awards every week. I'm like, man, this dude from Brooks, you're doing all this, man.
Yeah, I got my doctorate degree last month. I got a doctorate degree, you know, little boy with a doctorate degree. And one quick thing, man, I was celebrating my rebirth, 9/11. I had a heart attack. I almost died.
You did. I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry, y'all. Real quick. Kerry did almost die.
Yeah.
How do you forget this in the story? I don't know. Because I didn't know that he had a heart attack when we was having the conversation. Like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And he said it so casually, like everybody almost dies and get a heart attack. And I'm like, I don't know how he really wanted me to respond to that, but he kind of like threw it out there like, it just happens.
Yeah.
Last week that happened. This week I'm eating a burger. You know, it was like that's the way you threw it out there. But real quick, what did happen to you? I never really went into details.
Man, look, it started off a regular day, and by the end of the day, heart attack hit me. Man, just life is so short. That's why we talking about enjoying life, making an impact in your life and other people's life, because it could be gone just like that.
True.
In any kind of way. So. When thinking back, I can remember how I was having like these pains for like months before I
really. So you felt something, but you never did anything about it.
I just thought I was getting overly excited about this, overly excited about that. But when you think about it, man, so they went.
What were those feelings? I'm sorry, I have to because
just like
breathe or your chest hurt or
like it's. Anything excitement would, like a blood rush, it would feel like, you know, my chest. And this was happening often. Any good news, bad news, anything was causing me to feel a certain way. And then all of a sudden, boom, it just hit. And if it wasn't for my wife, man, I would definitely, because I wasn't going to.
So were you driving or you was at the house and you just felt?
We were at the house and man, I started just, it was like a dump truck that hit me, boom. And I made it to the hospital. They shut the hospital down to get down with me and get me right, man. And for the first time in my life, though, the entire hospital thought I was the nicest guy in the world. They loved me, man. Yeah, you're not that they loved me. They were like, man, we love you. You're the best patient. We just want to come in and talk to you. I'm like, what?
How long were you in the hospital?
About a week and a half.
So this was a full-fledged, you had a heart attack.
Heart attack, bro.
I got to ask, I'm sorry. How close, if you didn't go into the hospital?
Oh, I wouldn't be here.
Okay. After having a near-death experience, how does that change Kerry Douglas?
Hey, man, makes me hug a little tighter, makes me kiss a little longer.
All right.
Makes me smile. Makes me have time to sit down and talk to my friend,
yes,
you know,
sir.
And get to know you, you know. Yeah, man.
You feel differently about life? Do you look at it differently?
I pay attention to the small details. Like all this stuff is not important to me anymore. You know, it's not that important.
It's cool to do, fun to do, keeps a little, you know, keeps you in a little shack like this.
Yeah, fancy cars is not important anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you got your nice place, you got your little pool outside, you play with your little kids. My little 2-year-old, it's amazing to me that watching her go through the process of learning how to swim. And my 4-year-old, she won't learn because she's too smart to jump under the water. But my 2-year-old, she just dumb enough to jump, and she's swimming.
She's smart. She's just ready to go for it. She's bold. She has no fear.
No fear.
She has no fear.
And that's the problem with us. We have a lot of fear. You can't have no fear.
You gotta, that's what I'm trying to inject.
Yeah.
That's what I want to inject in my child as well. That, bro, have no fear. Do whatever it is you want to do. And as a parent, I got to figure out, because I know I'm a very, I like things. I'm military. I got a military mind.
You're so cautious and slow. I can't even believe we're doing this interview. You're so slow and cautious.
What else you got going on, Kerry?
Dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
You got to,
man. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Live, Hatta.
I'm trying. I'm a lot better than I once was.
Okay.
I'm not as anal and hyper-focused as I once was.
Okay.
I'm getting better every day. And the wife and child will teach you how to be
yes.
that different. When you find the right people, you're like things that you once did or once were or once was about, you can find very quickly, it's all about these two people.
I'm so proud of you, man. You having a baby in your 50 what?
Shoot, that's all. Just keep it right there.
I know we close to the same age.
I'm 32.
Yeah, I know we close to the same age.
I'm 32 and looking good.
We close, say that black don't crack.
But what's so funny, man, having a kid earlier, most times society has taught us that you should not do that. It's negative too because you're older, and if you don't have the physicalness to be able to deal with your child. Luckily, I work out and do all kinds of stuff. But there's another advantage to it too of life because you've had the opportunity to see so much, and obviously make some mistakes with probably earlier ones.
A whole lot of them, yeah. A whole lot of
13,
mistakes.
maybe 14, 12 of them.
Yeah.
So
and
this it gives you some insight. And let me say something else. I'm glad you're all right now, but it always appeared to me, and I don't know, that even with all your kids, that you've been there in some capacity, and they know that they can depend on you. I have another friend like you that has about 14 kids, and they love him to death. He's that kind of guy. I don't know how you do it because some people have a hard time just with one.
Yeah.
But to be able to balance that out, remember their names, just be
birthdays
a proper
are
father.
hard. The birthdays are hard.
That's a cool thing. So I also commend you on that, man.
Right.
Much more success, man. Real quick, what else are you into right now, Kerry? I know you got the network. You grow. Everything you're doing is growth. Will you be signing more artists? Are you done with that now? Will you just be helping them now, like a promoter,
we're doing
marketing,
more,
or what?
We're doing more artists. We're doing movies. Another thing that I'm doing that I'm very excited about is just like I take a new artist, we help build new business. We help build business people's credit, and just consult people and help them to better achieve what they want to achieve. So my Instagram is Mr. Kerry Douglas. My YouTube is Mr. Kerry Douglas. And my, what's that other thing called? Facebook is Kerry Douglas. I mean, but y'all can reach out to me.
I saw you on Instagram. Are you doing that? Is that your wife posting it on Instagram?
I mean, that's my team. My wife.
I like, there's no way in the world that Kerry put that up.
Also, man, and this is about to be awesome. We just partnered with Southwest Wholesale. I purchased an interest in Southwest Wholesale, the company that gave me my first start in the music business. Robert Gilliman, my man, I love him to death.
I got to talk to Robert. He should have an interesting story.
Yeah, I love him to life. Yeah, I do. So Robert and I, and of course JP, so we kind of came together. I purchased an interest in the company, and we're going to be doing great. I think we have about 120 labels up under us right now.
So you still will be doing distribution and working with artists.
I'm going to do what my real dream is to have a majority black-owned distribution system. I know a couple of us have tried it a couple of times.
Yeah, and then folks shut them down.
Yeah, we finna make it happen. If you guys know me, I put my mind on something, it's going down. We're going to have probably about 400 or 500 labels up under us by the end of next year. And
that's a lot. That's triple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck on that, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So jump on it. Southwest Digital Distribution.
Y'all gonna keep the name or y'all gonna change the name? You gonna keep the name?
Man, listen, man, that company, as far as music business, that company started me and you too.
Oh no, for sure. Southwest is a major part. I mean, you can make a movie just about Southwest
Yes.
and all the characters that they did business with
Yes.
there. So that should be interesting. I can't wait to see what you're gonna do with that. That's gonna be big. By the way, side note, although Orbit is not recording this, he's in the background. I have no clue what Orbit is doing with Kerry Douglas.
Hey.
Only time will tell.
All right, well, let me just
That
say
these two
this.
characters are together.
So-
two people that I never could. I don't even understand it, y'all. Why is Orbit here?
Hey,
I don't know.
hey,
But
Orbit-
I know Orbit does videos.
He's an animator. He's an
Okay.
animator, and we have a series.
Are you
called
out? Are you out of the video business?
Music. Well, when he was talking about the guy that lost a friend filming a music video, he was talking about me. One of the guys that used to work with me, he was filming a music video. The ops pulled up on the rappers and killed my homie.
Oh, wow.
It's getting very dangerous in that community, man. So I like cartoons. And hey, it's a whole lot safer.
Hey, it's called Hip Hop Boogly. We got a cartoon series that we're working on.
Isn't that on now though?
Nah, we finna.
I thought I seen
It's got
that.
a, you know.
Okay, you're doing some other stuff.
Yeah,
All right.
you know, we're sprinkling here, sprinkling there, but you know, sometimes we have an idea. You gotta ask God to bring people to you that can help bring those ideas to life, and that's what we're doing with Hip Hop Boogly. We're gonna have every kid in America singing the ABCs through our Hip Hop Boogly show.
Well, I sure hope my company can provide you some of those nice beats and tracks.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Together we can do whatever. So
good luck to you on that, man.
Yeah.
Orbit, good luck to you working with Kerry Douglas, the Suge Knight of gospel.
Come on, man.
One way or another, it should be very interesting to see what you two characters pull out. So I can't wait to see it. But I'm very proud of you, man. I appreciate your time because this was very last minute. I never do this, but to Mr. Johnny and Mr. David in the background, I do my video stuff. It was very last minute for them as well. And those guys have always been here for me. Look, this ain't radio, so I can do it the way I want to now, y'all. So everybody deserves they salute sometimes, man. They come right out when I need them. So I appreciate you guys as well. But Kerry Douglas.
Yeah, I just want to send a shout out to my wife. I'm glad God delivered her to me. I am. She's changed my life. She's I couldn't do this without her. So, baby, man. I love you wherever you at.
Look how he done broke down, y'all.
Yeah.
That ain't the evil man from 20 years ago. He got a heart now. Because they got to make him a new one after they almost broke that other time. They had to make a new one, man. So they made a new one now. So the new one got a lot of love in it, man. So if you meet him today, that was 20 years ago. 2022, he got a new heart.
New heart.
They took him to a hospital. They took the old one out. There's a new one in there now, beaten the way it need to be, man. Holla at your boys, we used to say, man. But Kerry, no, for real. I think you're good people, man.
Right,
I'm really proud of the work you've done. You continue to do stuff. You try to figure out how you can use people and get them doing things. And hopefully all the dreams that you're still going for, they happen for you, brother.
All right, thanks, man.
Thank you again for real, man.
All right.
My man.
Peace out, y'all.
Woohoo!